Hello, hello. I'm back again, putting some more PC parts together. As you can see, I have an EVGA Z97 classified motherboard. Very nice. Nice. I have a Corsair CX750M, which was out of their previous build. It's nothing serious. Um, it it just works. Got some nice ballistics tracer RAM. This stuff's gonna light up. It's gonna look cool. And I have a General Testing 750 Ti here, which you can see a little better there. And what I need to do is I just need to put this together and test the components. I just received this board back from RMA. Um, Previously, we had the board and it was basically sitting in my closet for a month or better, and brand new in the box, unsealed it, and just constantly got a 55 error for the error code, which was a problem with RAM, but it turned out to be an actual hardware issue. So I'm going to put this together now quick just for a test and see what we can come up with. First thing I'm going to do is take out this CPU protection thing. It just pops out. Put that back. This is actually not his processor. He has an i7, which is currently running in my other machine to stress test. This, on the other hand, is a, there you go. Now you can see it. This is an i5 4690K. This is actually my processor out of the other machine. And this is delidded and replaced with the Coolab Pro, and it overclocks pretty well. I got it stable at 4.8. Works great. I'm just going to place this in here very gently. Ends look great. Looks brand new. Be very gentle putting this thing in, as we don't want to damage the pins. Push the lever back down, and it's in place, all done. Next, I'm going to put a little bit of thermal paste on here. I'm going to do the dot method, as it's going to use less thermal paste, and this is only for testing purposes. It's not even going to do full boot into Windows or anything. This is just going to go into BIOS. So, got a stock Intel heatsink here. This actually came from the i5. Trying to get this thing to focus. Focus, dude. Dude. Doesn't seem to like that it's a little bit shiny and shimmery, I guess. So we will make sure these pins are in the proper location. And I'm just going to pull them straight back and turn them all the way to the right, which locks the pins in place so that I can just do like this, line them up, and pop them through. There we go. Our CPU heatsink is installed. Alright. Now, a lovely option on this board is that it has two spots for the CPU fans, in case you have dual fans and don't want to use a splitter. There you go. All done. 4-pin CPUs in. Now, because we're just doing testing, I'm only going to be putting in one stick of RAM. We'll put in the rest of them later to test that. I do know that the RAM is fully functional with all sticks are functional, as I've had it in another test machine prior. But I'm just going to flick that back, line it up, and we're going to push down. Now, EVGA has this weird system on this particular board, which only one side flicks down. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Crazy to me. Blew my mind the first time I saw it. I actually love using this 750 Ti for general purpose because it doesn't require a PCIe power cable. So we just plug this into the board in PCI slot 1. Wait for the click, and there you go, we're in. I have an HDMI cable here, which goes to my big TV, which is over there, which I'll pan the camera and show you shortly when it's time to boot. So I'll put this over here, I'll push that over there. I'm not plugging in the HDMI cable yet. We have CPU, RAM, GPU, plug in the power supply. Now, the EVGA board, classified board, is meant for pretty intense overclocking. So as you may have noticed, or may not, it has two 8-pin CPU plugs. Now, one is optional. I believe this one is the optional one, but you do not have to have both of them plugged in. Normally, when they're brand new, they have a sticker over this and the RAM to tell you about the optional portion. So I do recall that is this one. That is the one you use, I believe. So I will plug that in first, and then I will plug in my 24 pin, which hopefully this one is a lot better than the previous board, which was extremely tight. And I need a power cord. One moment while I locate a power cord. And here's one right here. Right, got a power cord. I need to plug this in, so bear with me a moment. Plug this in over here into the power strip. There we go. That is plugged in. And so now we can give it power. Because this is an awesome overclocking motherboard that is, again, meant for overclocking, we have this great feature here of having two buttons right on the motherboard. Right here. I have two buttons. You have a power and a reset button right there. So, great. I've already cleared the CMOS. So we're going to plug in this HDMI cable because this board does have onboard video, but I do not have DisplayPort or a mini DisplayPort to HDMI converter, so I cannot use that adapter rather. So I can't use that. So I'll use what I have. So now that that's done, let me get my TV remote, and I will change my input, the proper input, hopefully. Alright, I changed to my PC input. My flashlight out of the way. And I will move this camera so that you can see what I see. Move my this out of the way. Make some stuff off my desk, hopefully not. Maybe a screwdriver I may need. Alrighty. So here we go. Now you can see the TV, you can see my terrible lamp in the background, and let's see if we can get, I guess I should probably plug in a keyboard first. We'll do that as well. Keyboard right here. Good old dusty keyboard that's seen better days. Cytec Eclipse 3. I will plug that into the top USB ports because I believe those are USB 2 on this board. I wish mine had 2 because USB 3 has some small issues on my motherboard. Alright, let's power it up, see what we get. We have lights. However, I have no display. Ooh, it's making beeping noise. Hey, there we go, there's display. Alrighty. So it looks like we're in business. I already knew the GPU worked. I was aware the CPU worked. But more testing the motherboard. So now that that's good to go. That's great. CPU fan is on and running. I don't like how this stock cooler basically touches the RAM right here. That's not very good, EAGA. And it is an overclocker's board, but come on. It's basically touching the RAM. What's up with that? The XMP is detected on the memory. I can turn C states on and off. I can select default graphics. Thing looks good. See if I can find the BIOS version here. BIOS 1.08. So let's go look and see if EVGA has another BIOS version available that I may have to update to. Typically, you don't want to update the BIOS unless you have some sort of an issue. However, I'm going to check mainly because if it does have the option, I can look and see the change log and see what was changed. Certain things that were changed would be great to know about and or could be useful to me. So I will just go look just to see. And we will see what we got. Okay, so it looks as though they released a BIOS. This is actually quite an old BIOS. This is not even from 2015. Let me view the notes. Okay, one of them is just a patch. Okay, that's one for Broadwell. That's an official Broadwell BIOS. And the latest one, Beta BIOS release for the issues with the Samsung M2 SSD. Now, that means I need to update the BIOS. And the reason behind that is this customer wants an M2 SSD to put here. Now, it does say using the attached PCIe 3 adapter, but I'm going to be putting it on the board here on the M2 slot, which you can't actually see. I'll turn this camera around so you can see it. Here we have an M2 slot. That is where the M2 SSD will go. So we will definitely want a, we're definitely going to want to do that update, because otherwise I may run into the issue where I have to do it later. And I'd rather do it now, confirm it working, than put the whole build together, put the water cooling in, and have to update the BIOS and something may go wrong and then I have to RMA again and remove the board. That will just be a big pain, and yeah, it'll cause unhappy customer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I need to find my USB flash drive wherever I put that. There's no telling. And I will update that BIOS. Aside from that, it looks like we're good to go. So I'm going to take my USB drive. This wonderful little mini flash drive here. It's so tiny. It looks like a micro USB adapter or something of the nature. I'm going to put that BIOS there. Sorry, my speaker's on. Go to my PC and save. Save the flash tool. Hopefully it's not a Windows flash tool. I prefer a built-in BIOS tool, but I will deal with a standard if I must. Alright, it looks like I have the option to put it in there, so I will do that in that manner. I'm going to pull that out, my PC, and I'm going to put it into a USB slot right here. As you could hear, it detected me plugging it in, which is great. And I'll go here and do a BIOS update. You can't see it very well, unfortunately. It's a little bit better, I guess. I am doing a BIOS update. Version 0.99, that is not what this said. That's going to give me an option to do that. Okay. Go ahead and do the update. Alrighty, it's going through the BIOS flash sequence. You just let the customer know that the board's posted. It's great. Very, very great that the board posted. We shouldn't have any more issues out of that. I assume the board to be rebooting itself. For the BIOS update. Lots of LEDs on this board. Lots and lots of LEDs on this board. That's cool. Alright, we got some post noises. Go ahead and go into BIOS. Alright, so for whatever reason, that number does not look right to me. So I will do another one, just in case. Loads. However, it did boot just fine, so. Unplug that, plug it back into my big computer here. Here we are. Delete the previous. Matter of fact, delete everything in here. Alright, deleted everything in there. Going to extract the new one there. Alright, the new BIOS is extracted. Right? Now just my own peace of mind. I'm looking like the PC is down there. I'm going to put this in here again. Alright, there's the motherboard B. Exit. I'm going to go back down. and look. Alright, so it looks like it's the same. Alright, what we're going to do is we are going to restore defaults, and we're going to save changes and reset. While we're resetting, I will power it off, and I'll add the other sticks of RAM just to see if it'll boot with it in there. As I said before, this is a ballistics tracer RAM. This is the tactical tracer, actually. And there's a lot of cool LEDs. It actually has red and green LEDs in here. But for this build, it's black and red, so I'm only going to be using the red LEDs. And I want to test and ensure all the RAM is functional in this board. Rather, all the RAM slots on the board are functioning before I continue. So I got all the RAM plugged in now, and I'm going to fire it up. And there you go. It's a bright mess. All that can be adjusted and taken care of, so it's not that big of a deal. And there you have it. BIOS is up to date. Oddly enough, that raised my CPU voltage slightly. That's interesting. Very interesting. Raised my CPU voltage from a 1.27 to 1.33. That's interesting. I'm sorry, 1.027 and a 1.033. Emphasize that. It looks like all of our RAM is detected. It says 32 gigs of RAM here. Memory voltage. It detects the PCIe card. So everything seems to be in order here. With the CPU information just to look. This current 4690K will go back into my other machine, and the 4790K will go into here. So. All right, things seem to be in order. Now I'll begin the build. I will return shortly and have I'll have a case up here and be putting the motherboard in, or putting this motherboard in. Let me just step away and grab the case. So one moment. Let me cut this off. Everything's running good. Unplug everything. I'll do another test after I put the motherboard into the case. This thing is impossible, is ridiculously easy to lose. It's a little 8 gig flash drive, and this is the little cover for it, and that's all there is to it. This little thing. I mean, you can see how small it actually is compared to, here you go, here's a AA battery. There's a AA battery here. Now look how big this SD card, or this USB flash drive is. Not sure why I decided to get this one, but I have it, and I lose it all the time. So, alright, I've unplugged the GPU. I'm going to push this little pin in here, and we're going to slide it out of that slot. There you go. That goes back into my test area slash server. My home media server that is not being used. Push the pins in and pull the CPU power out. 24 pin is good. Unplug the power supply. And trying to decide if I want to leave the heatsink and such in. Not entirely sure yet. We shall see. I think for the purpose of this, I need to take it out, as I'm going to be installing a water block on it, which is seen here. I'll be installing this Raystorm water block on there. So I guess I might want to do that. I can do that first, actually. So I guess I'll do that. So I shall return shortly. I'm going to restart the screen. Actually, take that back. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take this cooler off and remove the RAM. So for the cooler, the easiest way to take it off would not to be use a giant screwdriver like I have and do stuff like that, would be to put it into the little slots here and turn it. And then you can just pop these pins up. Alright, good. And there you go. Pop the pins up, it comes right off. As we can see, that dot method actually worked pretty well. So let me go get a couple cotton balls. Alright, I have my cotton balls. And since this may be the final application, I will be using the Articlean stuff. Ordinarily, I'd drop this in a different scenario, but for now, will suffice. Alright, that's pretty clean. Wipe off this heat sink. Some people use coffee filters or whatever else, what have you. These cotton balls, and then I go back behind it with something else normal. So step 2, and just going to basically prevent any residue and buff it clean. And there you have it. Clean 4690K. Same to the heat sink, so that I can reuse it for various reasons, such as this one. And there you go. Clean CPU and heat sink. Now what I will do is I will take that and give the water block a good once over. And that should be good as well now. Nice clean surface. And there you go. Raystorm water block right there. Take all the screws out of this. I think I'm going to end up painting this piece. Might paint it red. That will be a pretty good contrast. But for now, I will remove this CPU, as again, this goes back into the other build carefully, as to not bend any pins. Looks like we're at okay. Back into the little clamshell. And as a protective situation, I will replace that piece so I don't damage any pins, installing any parts. Now that that's done, pick this up, put the back plate on. So the back plate already has some washers, you can see them. And just put them in the correct setup. This is an Intel setup, so it's an Intel back plate already. And then I'll put a little bit of pressure on the back. Slide the board up. Careful not to remove the back plate. And there you go. Now we can take this back off. And we can place the water block, situate it there for fitting purposes of the water cooling, because I'm going to have to bend some PETG tubing to go in there. So just put the screws in a couple times, couple turns. And then when I put the last one in, I'll do a couple of turns and then turn it till it's snug. And then I'll do round robin type. It's snug. I'll do a round robin type setup. And so simulating the chip is actually in there, but it's not. Alright. Good and snug. I can now pick it up from there. Alright. Having said that, now I check the RAM again, and the clearance is a bit better. but still very, very close. It's only maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. So it's something BBJ might have looked past a little bit too much. Alright, so I'm going to go get the case and I'm going to set this aside. Grab the case and we're going to put it in there. Here we have the thumb screws for the rear of the case and 4 screws for the power supply. The case being used is an Enthoo Primo. You can see there's the window. Take that apart. Thumb screws over there. Not entirely sure how well this is going to fit on my desk. There's my other bag of screws. We're going to do the best we can. I'm going to mute the audio so it doesn't deafen you. Okay, so I have this gigantic case sitting on my desk now. Hello, the camera. Alrighty. So now we're going to put the motherboard in. I need to remove one piece here, so I'm going to stand the case back up. See if you can see it or not. Huh. Yeah, that camera's looking down there. As you can see, this piece is a reservoir mount built into the Enthoo Primo. It's great. It's a great idea. I love it. But I need to remove it in order to put this board in, I believe. I'll fit it first and see, and then we'll see if we need to take it off. Maybe we'll get lucky we won't have to. Means I need to go into the box first to get the IO shield. I'll do that first. There we have the IO shield. There it is. IO shield. Just gonna snap that in over here. Till it clicks. And there you have it. And there you have the I/O shield. Put the top of this case back on, I believe. Alright, so the I/O shield's in. Now I can actually just slide the board in there. These are a pack of mounting screws. It's lovely that the water block is on there, meaning I can essentially hold it by that. And as I can see, it is not going to fit in that manner, so I'm going to have to put it in that way first. And that worked great. Now you line up all of your I/O stuff, and it looks like it's going to fit okay. Alright, pull it back out. Like the standoffs are already in. Make sure they're good and tight. I'll just put it back in there. And we will. The holes lined up. They are indeed. Alright, so we're doing great. Let's try and move my lamp around. I have very efficient lighting in here. Okay, so now that we have that in there and it's okay, we're going to move on to the next step. I'm going to grab these screws here, check, and these are in fact, they do not look like the motherboard tray screws. Won't use those. I need to look for my little NZXT buttons. There we go. We will look into there. So I'll open this up. Inside this guy, we have, this is the piece that goes over the radiator, or the reservoir plate. Like that. We have this handy guy here. Great job. Great job, Phentex. Now we'll take that. Alright. So I can open this up. Phentex has graciously provided these. So I can look in here, and I believe I have a Phentex book somewhere. Probably buried somewhere. Been doing quite a lot of work lately, so stuff is everywhere. My room's trashed. Looking for my Phentex booklet. Just had one. That's for my 900D. I can't seem to find the Phentex booklet. That's not good. Oh, anyway, that's not as important. Motherboard screws are. Oh, you know what? There it is right there. Underneath my controller and my tape measure. Alright. I'll look in this book quickly. Look in this book. My Enthoo Primo. And I will check and see which screws it tells me to use for the motherboard tray. Alright, it has an awesome breakdown of what everything is and what it's for. As you can see, they did a great job of that. Great, great job. So I will look through this. And it looks as though they have 28 of them. Would be these, which is great. All right. I'll take my handy screwdriver out of here. Grab a couple of them. We will screw in the motherboard. And it went in like butter. Not even a slight struggle. Grab a couple more. Many people say don't use magnetic screwdrivers. I have big hands. Working computers without a magnetic screwdriver is a pain. So I use it. I've never had any issues with static or ESD. Knock on wood. But never had any problems like that. See, I proved my point. I just dropped the screw. Now I pick it up with my awesome magnetic screwdriver. Um, I use them, but it's advised not to. So your results may vary. Be careful. Disclaimer: I'm not responsible if you decide to use a magnetic screwdriver because I do, and you break something. All right. The motherboard is in and secure. All screws are fastened, not over tightened. They're all in there. Put that aside. Close our cool little holder here. Blood nose. Alright, our motherboard is in. Now we're going to start assembling other parts, such as down here, which we can't see very well. Down here, you have a radiator bracket. Now this is going to have a 240 radiator with push-pull. I advise the customer to get a certain one, but we're going to go with a different one. He's going to go with what he wanted. That's their prerogative. It's their build. So here we go. We put these fans on here, basically getting everything set up so that we can get things in place to start the hard line in PETG tubing. We find out where everything needs to go and whatnot. We'll go get a box of fans and I shall return. Alright, so since we're doing push-pull, I grabbed 4 fans. That was the previous color the customer wanted to go with, which as you can see, is like a red and yellow theme. This is only Plastidip, so it's easy enough to take off, but it looked great for what it was. Some of them look better than others, but I think I did a pretty even job on most of them. Alright, So we're going to install this radiator bracket, which I believe goes this way. We're going to place two fans here. I'm going to face the wires inside because I have holes for that. Good job, Fantex. Good thinking. And we're going to do that. We're going to get our fancy little toolbox and use that schematic that I was just looking at, which says these are the fan screws. Which also means I have to flip this over in order to do that. Okay. Probably put two screws in each just to hold it there, and then I'll turn it over. This is not going to be the final setup, as we haven't decided on a final 100% color scheme since the case is black and the board is black. He may want to go RGB. Not entirely sure yet, honestly. Okay. One screw in there. Two screws in there. These feel a little bit big for these particular screws, or these particular fans, but it's not, again, it's not a permanent solution, so it's rubber it's being mounted into, so not that big of a major of a deal. Doesn't feel perfect. $99 in here for testing purposes. Alright. Now that's like that. I will tighten them down so I can get an accurate measurement as far as the tubing is wise. I want the radiator to be placed in about the right spot. Looks like I may have to change screws because this one just does not want to cooperate. As well as I will have to be getting some radiator screws to go with it. Here's my 240 rad. That'll be going in there. You can see an XSPC 240 rad. It's a little dusty. You can clean it off, but other than that, it's good to go. Now, I can't stress enough, make sure you use proper screws that go with the radiators. They can puncture or damage radiators. That's the last thing you want to do is have to replace your radiator. I've done it before. Having to do your build and having to replace your radiator at the last minute is not fun. So this one will fit fine based on its length and the type of screw it is. So we'll go ahead and put a couple screws in here. I won't tighten that down too much. Let's not make that mistake and puncture anything. But it will be snug. Alright, there we go. We've got the radiator screwed into the fans. As you can see, they look pretty good like that. Too bad I won't see them. We'll probably replace those with some general fans, but the good looking ones get to actually be seen. Try to slip these connectors, which doesn't look like it's going to fit, so I'll have to end up running those down the side. This way or out the side or something else of that nature. Looks like that may be a problem. The connector is too big to go out of that reservoir or that slot there. If I go any other way, almost in the way. Okay. Something I discovered now, but it'll be something I'll take care of later. So now we got to do the opposite and attach two fans from the top. Since it is in push-pull, we have to make sure that they match as far as placement goes. Well, I'm only going to use 4. I'm going to do 2 in each fan for fitment reasons. All we're doing now is testing fitting. And, just enough in there so that it's in there. Not damaging anything. Don't want the fan moving while we're trying to fall instead of things. Alright, it's in there. Fans are snug. Put the bracket back in where it's supposed to go. This is going to be fun to do once the PT tubing is in. Right now I have to slide it past really tight. There we go. Okay. Now it'll be in there. I can put a screw in it and it'll stay put, and this is where it goes. Now I need to turn the case over and attach the 480 rad. And I will get to that right now. Now, in order to do this, we have to take the top of the case off. So we're going to take the top of this case off. To do that, it has a bunch of small little pins on the inside that need to be pushed up. It does have a cool removable dust filter feature, which actually will allow me to get enough access to the rad. So apparently I don't need to do that. That's great. Good job, Fantech. And here's our 480 rad. Good stuff. Alrighty. I'll slip this in here. And see, I want to mount it over here, which it looks as though it'll fit. Okay. And I can do just that. However, it is far to one side. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh, there's something up there. Okay, that'll be the front panel that's causing an issue. So in order to get rid of that, I will check and see if it'll fit here, which it doesn't. Okay. So it appears that that's mainly just for fans. That's not that big of a deal. We can attach this, and we can have our fans in here on the top side. I'll grab a fan, sit this here, put it down there, and then grab a fan or two. The same fan, they just don't have the ring on them. And we will place them on either side. Essentially, just for to anchor the radiator to. Need something to hold the radiator up where it's supposed to go. That's what we're going to do. Just feeding the wires through the areas up here. I'll grab two more of these fancy screws that we have on in here. Oh boy, we only have two left. I'll have to go into my bag of screws. Some radiator screws. It looks as though I have a couple of them. It looks like it might be the wrong size. It looks like I don't have the right size screws. Not sure how that happened. Radiator came out of the computer, but I don't have the right size screws, so I don't know. I just don't know. I will figure that out shortly. Okay, this does come with other screws, so I can check and see. Alrighty, so this does have other screws that I can use. So I'll go with that for now. I'll go to a Lowe's or Fastenal, get the appropriate screws needed, get the appropriate length in order to not damage anything. Now, for these screws and no fans, this one is less important to have the fans on there since the radiator is going to be down here. The fans are going to be above it. And to attach this radiator, brace it for a moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look in there and check and see the clearance on those because those are not appropriate radiator screws. I'm going to check clearance. Like they're hitting the stops right there, which is fine. It just needs to be anchored there. Let me close my blinds. Alright, the radiator is there. Now I'll do some sizing check and see that. But first, I'm going to give you something to eat and something to drink. And I will return.